YouTube, what's good with y'all, man? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today's video, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. Like, I love making dark beats, but in my opinion, that whole Nardo Wick, Lil Baby movement, like those type of beats, I feel like every beat has been made already. And I know that I've also made countless beats that sound like that, and that might be a reason, might be a big reason why I don't really enjoy making those beats anymore. But the main reason why I kind of stepped away from the dark beats a little bit is because, in my opinion, they just lack a little bit of emotion, you feel me? And in my opinion, emotion is very important when it comes to music. And that's also why I enjoy listening to more emotional music, more melodic music, since there's way more emotion linked to that genre, that feeling, that emotion, you feel me? So in today's video, I'm gonna show y'all how to make beats and samples with emotion instead of just plain dark beats without any emotion attached to it. Let's get right into it. Alright, man, as y'all can see, got FL Studio opened up right here. Already pre-made the sample a couple days ago, and I ain't gonna lie, man, this might be the best sample that I've made this year so far. So I'm gonna start out by playing the sample, and after that, I'm gonna deconstruct the sample, every single individual layer. I'm gonna explain how I did it, my thought process, and the effects that I added. And after that, I'm gonna add some drums to it. So this is what the sample sounds like. It's beautiful, bro. It's really that emotion that I'm talking about, feel me? So like I said, definitely top 3 samples that I made this year. So let's go right into the deconstruction. For these type of samples, I like using pianos or electric pianos to really set that foundation of the sample. It's probably the most important melody of this entire sample. So I like to start out with some keys, and after that, I just like to add layers to it that kind of complement those keys. So we got this Rhodes, we got this vocal chop, this Mellotron chords, and I also got this grand piano and this bass. But like I said, start out with this Rhodes. That's what that sample sounds like by itself. Tough, right? And by the way, for that Rhodes, I use this preset right here out of Keyscape, this classic chorus Rhodes preset. So how I usually go about building these type of chord progressions is I start out with some root notes. As you can see, C, got A sharp, and back down to G sharp. I usually like to start out by building some triad chords like that. Just following all the root notes. And after laying down those basic chords, I kind of invert some notes, pitch them up an octave. As y'all can see, if I pitch it up, I got this G right here and this D sharp right there. And if y'all need help building melodies or chord progressions just like this one, should have a video pop up in one of the corners. I did a video on chord progressions a couple weeks ago, I believe. So like I said, I usually start out by building some chords, inverting some of the notes, kind of strumming some of the notes a little bit. It's very important if you want your melodies to sound human. For example, as you can see, it's not on the grid. Not all of the notes are following the grid. And it's also really important to keep a lot of space in these types of chord progressions. For example, right here on the second bar, it's just one chord, a couple notes playing out without a lot of rhythm in it. Kind of smoothens out, you feel me? Same right here. Beautiful. So after those chords, these notes that I'm highlighting right now, that's the chords that I started out with, and as you can see, there are a lot of counter melodies in between those chords. We got this counter melody right here, this A sharp and this C sharp. We also got this top melody right here, this G, A sharp, and F sharp, or F. I guess 2 separate counter melodies within the chords that kind of blend together and kind of enhance the emotion even more. And I don't know a lot about music theory, shit like that, but I also like to follow the chords and kind of strum it like this. Kind of fades into the next chord right here a little bit smoother. Also got the same chord right here, basic triad chord like that. Cut out the middle note and pitch the top note up an octave. Got the root notes right here, A sharp and F. And same right here, if we build a triad with the G sharp as the root note, we can pitch it up. Got the C right there, which I can see this D sharp. Got to come back right here. So that's it for the first part. After that, once again, like I said, I followed the notes of the chords to kind of fade it into the next chord a little bit more smooth. Sounds a whole lot better compared to that, you feel me? As y'all can see, for the third bar, if I copy over that first progression, it's pretty much the same notes, just kind of adjusted some things to kind of make it a little bit more unique. And same for that last chord, if I copy the second chord over, as you can see, it's the same notes, just added this D sharp up top, once again to make it stand out a little bit. And of course, like I said, if you want to humanize the chords a little bit, it's really important to kind of push them off grid a little bit and play around with the velocities. So we got the same chords right here, but they sound different because this one is louder and different in velocity. And it might be a lot at once, but like I said, I made an in-depth tutorial on that, so make sure to go watch that after watching this video if you're still struggling with this. So next, for the effects on that Rhodes, started out with this EQ, got some of the sub lows out, boosting some of the high mids to really bring out that presence and lowering some of the very sharp highs. After that, some compression to really push those those quiet and loud parts a little bit closer together. And after that compression, I just added some reverb to it with these settings right here. Next, I layered that Rhodes with a vocal chop. Sounds like this. Shit, beautiful, bro. I believe I got that vocal chop out of Arcade. What it sounded like at first, I used this preset for it from the Distant Voices bank, the Windstorm. I believe I just rendered that vocal chop out, and as you can see, I shortened it and just copied it over every second bar. After I did that, I pitched it up an octave, put it to stretch. As you can see right here, put the range to 12, and I pitched it up an octave. Like that. And of course, I processed it a little bit with some effects. That's what it sounded like before. With effects. Sounds a whole lot better. So start out with this EQ, cutting out some of the lows and some of the highs with the shelf. After that, I added a lot of reverb to it and also compressed it a little bit. Then I added some distortion to it. Also makes a big difference. Kind of makes it sound a little bit louder than it actually is. And lastly, I opened up Fruity Delay 3 and laid down this ping pong patch. Kind of widens it out a little bit. And that's really the perfect vocal layer to complement this Rhodes. I also automated the delay, so the delay is not active or present at this point right here. But it kind of fades in at the second bar. Very subtle. And that's it for the vocal chop and the Rhodes, man. So after those two layers, I remember I didn't really know what to add. But I ended up with this preset from Mellotron. I believe it's a stock preset. It's called Strawberry Flutes. I created these little harmonies, these two notes stacked on top of each other. It's probably a name for this, but like I said, I don't really know music theory like that. And the reason why I added this at the end of every second bar is since these chords kind of fade out at this point, like it's not really too much going on. So I figured I would complement this gap right here with these two notes. So I remember I started out with these notes, these ones right here. We're adding notes on top of those notes, skipping one note in the scale, as you can see. Let's get this F right here and this D sharp right here. Really makes a big difference. And this also adds a lot more emotion to it, creating harmonies, just like these chords right here. And of course, also adds some effects to it, so without the effects, sound like this. Started out with some EQs, just cutting out the lows. Next, I added some ping pong delay to it, as well as you can hear. Next, I added some distortion to it, and also the same vintage verb to kind of glue it all together. So after that, I opened up another instance of Keyscape, and I got this LA Custom C7 wash, and I copied over these chords. As you can see, I really strummed these chords right here, but I decided to keep it simple, really bring out those chords once again with this grand piano. Very simple. I believe I used the same method following the root notes. As you can see, the same notes, this G and this D sharp. So once again, just some basic triad chords with the notes inverted and pitched up a few octaves. It's very simple, but it really makes the electric piano sound a lot fuller. For the effects, I kept it very simple. Just panned it to the left a little bit to kind of separate it in the stereo image a little bit. Brought out some of the presence, took some of the sub lows out, lowered some of the low mids, and also added some vintage verb to it. Already sounded good, so that's all I added. And lastly, one of the most important layers in the sample is the low end, of course. Also adds a lot more emotion to it. So I added this bass right here. Beautiful. The preset that I used for that was this homie bass from Synology. I use it all the time. This pattern right here, following the root notes. And these little rolls in between, following the scale. Adding these melodies in between really makes a big difference when it comes to the bounce of the entire sample. As you can see, I rendered it out into an audio clip, and of course added some effects to it with effects. That's a lot more realistic, if that makes sense. Started out with this Waves plugin. It's called Voltage Amps Bass Mono with these settings right here. Next, I got some of the highs out to really bring out those lows. And also added some distortion to it to end it out, and that's pretty much all I added to it. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the sample. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers.
Not too much going on, but sounds really full, and that's the importance of sound selection. So that's pretty much it. So next for the drums, man, I think I want to keep the drums fairly simple since there's a lot going on in this sample. But like always, of course, every single drum sample that I'm going to be using in today's beat came from my 1/2% and Rook Season drum kit, man. Both are right now, first link down in the description. And these drum kits got every single sound in it you need to lay down hard drums, used by industry producers, billboard producers, and me myself in every single one of my videos. From 808s to bonus loops to some FL Studio themes, open hats, percussion, snares, everything. So if you're still looking for some high quality drum samples, make sure to go check it out after watching today's video. Get right into it, man. Let's get it. So I think I want to start out with some very basic two-step hi-hats and a very basic snare pattern. Use this one. Really add some bounce to the sample. Use this one. For the snare, I think I want to use this snare and clap combo. This one, use it all the time. So basically I use this snare right here, pitch it down a little bit like that. After that I layer it with the clap. It's kind of separated from each other. I put some stereo delay on it, on the clap. There. After that, I'm gonna add this counter snare to it, and I'm gonna keep it simple to not overdo the drums, like I said, since there's already a lot going on in the sample. Yeah. Crash also sounds good. Kind of has the impact a little bit. Yeah, so next for the bass, I could go with something like a spins or a sub and a kick. And for these slow paced beats, we're at like 91 BPM. I like to use these subs, so I'm gonna copy over these root notes to make sure that I stay in the scale, copy it over into the sub pattern. Next, I'm gonna shorten the notes like this and lay down a sub bass pattern. That's solid, bro. Get this go-to kick from our Rook Season drum kit. Copy over the sub bass pattern, paste it into the kick, and do Alt or Option K, I believe. Yup. That shit tough, bro. Thing that I like to do with these subs and these kicks is add some distortion to that sub bass. Also want to add a open hat to it. Shorten it just a little bit, turn it down. So usually I like to add hi-hat rolls and all that stuff, but for these types of beats, like I said, if you want to keep it simple, I suggest just stick to the two-step, man. Like, nothing wrong with the two-step hi-hat pattern. Yeah, I think after that, we perfectly complemented the sample with the drums. So yeah, pretty satisfied. That's what we ended up with, man.
Alright, man, that's pretty much it. That right there was my method of how I make my emotional melodic beats and samples that really touch your soul, you feel me? So like I always want to thank y'all for watching the video all the way to the end. Really hope that y'all learned something from today's video and that y'all found this video helpful. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video, of course. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, check out my Discord community, and check out my drum kits. I'm gonna have it all linked down in the description down below. And that's pretty much all I have for today's video, man. So I'm gonna catch you on the next one. I'm out.